North Idaho has its first confirmed measles case in more than 30 years. Tonight, we are looking into what is being done to find others who may have been exposed.
One more hot day in the forecast, but it comes with wind. We're talking red flag warnings across the region.
Then a murder mystery in Hayden tonight, where a man was found gravely injured outside another person's home. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Well, North Idaho has its first confirmed case of the measles in more than 3 decades. The Panhandle Health District announcing today that an unvaccinated child in Kootenai County tested positive. KREM 2 Shannon Mowdy breaks down what you need to know right now. Shannon?
Panhandle Health says this is the first measles case in an Idaho resident since 2023. Now PhD is working to contact people who may have been exposed. As the nation's measles rate surged to numbers not seen since the early 90s, North Idaho is now investigating a case of its own, something that hasn't happened here since 1991. Panhandle Health will now conduct contact tracing, starting by interviewing the patient's family, says Dr. Christine Hahn with the state's Department of Health.
Then next, it's like, okay, where else has that person gone out and been to a sporting event? Have they been to a local church? Are they going to school?
Kootenai County's positive case comes about a week after PhD reports measles was detected in Coeur d'Alene's wastewater. Dr. Hahn says this indicates the existence of other measles infections.
You know, they may be no longer infectious. They may be fully recovered. But we think that, you know, one person doesn't get it from nowhere. There probably is or was someone else with measles.
PhD says the MMR vaccine is highly effective. Adding 2 childhood doses are all most people need to be protected for a lifetime.
We want to advise people to take this seriously, to look at their immunization records, look at their child's records.
Dr. Hahn says Idaho ranks in the national average for babies getting their first MMR dose. But the Gem State stands out with the highest rate of immunization exemptions in kindergarten-age children.
So we're at 78% of kids have documented immunity, have the documented 2 doses. That's really low. That's lower than any other state.
That other 22%, children who are exempted, may be partially protected with 1 dose or could be wholly unvaccinated.
The difficult part is we don't know.
Measles symptoms can appear a week or 2 after contact and include high fever, cough, runny nose, red eyes, and the distinctive rash. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Shannon, thank you very much. Let's shift gears real quick and take our first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. Jeremy, for the second day in a row, we are under a KREM 2 weather impact alert.
Mark, get this. It is so hot outside that the LCD screen on my side monitor that allows me to see what is on this big green wall that I see out here, black. The sun's just taking it over. I turned it off, turned it back on. Nothing changed. It's just that hot. It is a scorcher today, and tomorrow we're talking increased fire danger, and for that reason, we're under a KREM 2 weather impact alert. Flying a little blind here, so I hope what I talk about matches the graphics. Our temperatures are in the 90s pretty comfortably in eastern Washington and North Idaho. I just checked here in Spokane, 95 degrees puts us even warmer than yesterday. Triple digits in parts of central Washington. And for that reason, we are under those heat advisories through 8 p.m. It is going to stay hot. And tomorrow it gets windy. And for that reason, we're under red flag warnings from noon until 9 p.m. for hot, dry, windy conditions across most of Washington, including central Washington and areas down to the south. We're going to be every bit as warm tomorrow. A couple of degrees isn't a big difference, but what that equates to is that exacerbated fire danger as wind picks up across the region. Wind's going to gust around 20 to 30, even 35 miles per hour tomorrow, and that means any fire that starts will burn aggressively and spread quickly. We eventually cool down Thursday back in the 80s, and by Friday, we're talking a chance of rain in the forecast.
All right, that sounds good to me, Jeremy. Thank you very much. New today, the Kootenai County Sheriff has identified the victim from yesterday's homicide near Hayden Lake. They say that man is 35-year-old Kenneth Caldero of Kootenai County. Deputies say a person called 911 and reported that he found Caldero injured on his property and blood on the front porch of his home. Police say Caldero had traumatic injuries and died at the scene. Authorities searched that property for additional victims or a suspect. They did not find anything, they said. It is not clear exactly how Caldero died. The investigation continues tonight. Well, tonight, a local operators union officially on strike. This impacts contractors working on several major construction projects in our region, including the North Spokane corridor. KREM 2's chief journalist, Amanda Rowley, shares which state and local projects are now coming to a halt.
We confirmed the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 302, went on strike this morning. WSDOT says this strike is halting 3 major projects that are currently underway in our region, and that includes the North Spokane corridor. Here are the suspended WSDOT projects right now in our area: the North Spokane corridor, Spokane River crossing, and paving projects near Pullman on US 195 and in Chewelah on US 395. To be clear, WSDOT is not involved in the strike. It's contractor employees who are hired on through project bids. Still, WSDOT isn't the only agency impacted by the strike. Spokane County says if the operator strike continues beyond the next 2 weeks, 3 of its projects may be impacted. They include construction on Country Homes Boulevard, Wall Street, and the second phase of the North Hatch Road project. If the strike drags on, the county says it will seriously impact road projects getting the asphalt needed to complete the projects, let alone get them finished before the weather turns. The city of Spokane wasn't able to list specifically impacted projects, but shared a statement saying it's keeping an eye on the situation and will post updates and make adjustments as needed. The strike also impacts Idaho Transportation Department projects in North Idaho. These are the projects ITD says involves operator work, which will likely face delays if the strike continues. I went to the union office in Spokane this afternoon, and while leaders there said no comment, I did see several members leaving the building with picket signs in hand. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
4 small fires started early this morning along the Centennial Trail and are now under investigation by the Spokane Valley Fire Department. Just before 2 o'clock this morning, firefighters responded to a call at the Mirabou Trailhead. They eventually say they found 4 small fire starts along the Centennial Trail. Because of the suspicious nature of the fires, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office was called in, and deputies then patrolled the area by car, bike, and by drone. All those fires were quickly contained. There was no damage to any structures or injuries. But if you have any information about those fires, you are asked to call Crime Check. That number is right there at the bottom of your screen. And take a look at some of the money, drugs, and guns and explosives recently found with a Spokane search warrant. On August 6th, Spokane Police's Special Investigations Unit served that warrant in the 2600 block of North Freya. They say they found more than $250,000 as well as a foreign military hand grenade and a training bomblet that was once part of a cluster bomb. Also, more than 60 guns, and they seized a pound of fentanyl powder and 5 pounds of methamphetamine. Police say criminal charges are in the works, but there's no word tonight on how many people are now facing those charges. Coming up next on KREM 2 News at 5 tonight, the Hilliard District gets some good news. KREM 2's Regan Gallo shows us how they lead the way in Spokane County. And new eyewitness accounts of that Montana plane crash. Those stories coming up in just a few minutes.